Alright, so what we're going to try to do today is start work on quarter sawing this. Just measured it out a little over, I think 6'1". It's about 27 inches in diameter, and really don't know how it's going to turn out. Right now I'm going to mark up the saw marks for how this wants to get done. I'm also going to trim off the other end of the log so it's kind of squared up. Take a look real quick. You can see it's not really even. I don't really know how to show that. But when this was dropped off by Arbor Service, I think they were just cutting it up to go. But I mean, it's good blade. It's pretty fresh. And right now I'm going to trim up that end and also the top to see if I can get it a little bit more flat than it currently is. Right now the board I normally use for edge milling doesn't sit on there very flat. What I'm going to do is actually use that board to take the Alaskan mill on top of it to take the top off and then try to mark it off. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'm also going to want to see what I need to set the Alaskan mill at. What I'm really looking for is a 20 width-wise, which is the first time I've ever done this, but I think you're looking for a square area, and that's pretty bang on. So. Pretty flat enough anyways. Clean. You can't tell this white oak had a little bit of heartwood rot. That's probably why they had it taken down. But I mean, that's okay. I'm going to probably cut to the pith just to try to simplify it for myself. There may be some good figure in there too. It's kind of hard to tell how deep it goes. And just real quick, I decided to go ahead and mark out some initial lines on here. What I did was use my framing square to square up the top of the surface that I just cut out a little bit more than is flat on this side, because down there it gets a lot bigger, and also it makes me feel a little better about not hitting the ground on my down cut, which I think I'm not gonna be able to get away with on this side. But I just made sure these two lines, this one I accidentally did, but this is the one I'm going to go with just to use more of the wood. And I tried to get roughly 9 inches away from the center of the pith, and also make sure that these two lines are relatively parallel. I measured them so they seem like they might be. Eyeballing it, I'm not really sure, but I think just as long as dimensionally these two quadrants are kind of square, we should be okay. So, alright, we're rocking and rolling with our next stage of trying to quarter saw this log. Got the edging mill all set up. I decided to go a little bit outside of the marks I earlier drew, just because you can take it off but you can't put it back on. Still really not sure what this is going to look like, so I'm trying to give myself a little more to work with. But everything's all set up. I'm going to do this edge first. Very beautiful little cut there. It looks nice. Another little knot on this side, but it's looking pretty good. Alright, so now that we got everything kind of sighted up, I'm going to try to mark up the log for quarter sawing. Looked around online, there's a billion things of different rift saw charts, different plane saw, live saw, and quarter saws, and I'm going to try to duplicate this kind of idea. So these are almost looking a little more, this one at least, a little more rifts on at this point. I don't know if it's parallel or not, but this cut ended up really out of square with the rest of them, so I'm not really sure how that happened, but it'll plane out. Everything should be okay. The pith over here is a little bit lower, but we'll see what happens. But hopefully by the end of this afternoon, I will have my first a little bit of heartwood right here. Alright, so you can see some of the, I mean, that's actually not too bad. That's pretty square. Just nice and straight. It's a really good looking piece of wood. And here's the rays. Kind of hard to see on this really rough finish, but I can see them. I mean, they look really good. Check out the other side. Yeah, that is beautiful. Pretty good first result. Not much you can do about that heartwood rot, but it's the way the cookie crumbles. Beautiful piece. Hard to see the rays right now, but this looks really good. Pretty good looking. That's a right lovely piece. Quite the temptation. I planed one of these real quick. It's still pretty green, so it's still a little wet. But my, does that look good. Definitely worth the effort, I'd say. The wood's dried just a little bit more and you can really see the rays starting to pop out. This is really beautiful. So I'm going to repeat the process on the other side. And then for the bottom, I'm thinking actually what I'm going to do is first do a 2-inch cut this way, then cut it in half. Almost. So a plunge cut down to here-ish. And then kind of work it out from there, but it's been good. I'm really happy with the results. I'll definitely be doing it again.